Well, hello.
Hola, ¿cómo
How's everyone doing?
estás? What y'all doing? How y'all doing? What's going on? What's crack-a-lacking? What's popping? What's
It's
up?
all hood.
It's all hood. It's
Mhm.
all hood. It's all hood in the good in the neighborhood.
Yes.
What's going down?
I suddenly just decided that I wanted to make a gooey butter cake.
You
And I
making a
couldn't
gooey butter cake?
yeah, and I couldn't find my recipe for it. I'd gotten from the YouTubles.
I
So
would say, have we had a conversation about you making a gooey butter cake?
say it again.
Have we had a conversation about you making a gooey butter cake?
I've made it several times before.
Why have I never had a piece of this gooey butter cake?
You have definitely had a piece of the gooey butter cake. It was like the bar that was real sweet, and I told you it's just made with a fucking box cake mix and some other bullshit.
No, I had the drop biscuit type of not drop, it was like a drop, like a pan dropped cake type of thing.
That was something else.
Okay, well, okay, well, get with this gooey butter. So yeah, so I can go ahead and sample this. Thank you, appreciate you, love you.
Mhm. I have strong
Hi.
feelings. I have very strong feelings about you too.
Yes, they are strong.
Good. So I noticed that you aren't here beside me.
I am not. I listen. I am in the Western Annex,
Hmm.
and filming in the Western Annex here today. That's what I am doing. I decided to. I was able to go and actually witness Miss Lettucey last
Oh,
night,
very good. How was
and
she?
so listen, fucking Lettucey was amazing. Listen, I
She was amazing.
she right.
Amazing.
Amazing. Like amazing. Amazing. She is all the things I thought about her as far as her being like a very personal, personable celebrity, someone that's comical, someone that's entertaining, just not even boring at all. Like she was all of that on stage. She was, relating to this to the people in the audience. She was amazing. And beyond anything, she sounded fan fucking tastic. Like she is literally her voice and the things that she did, they were just it was so effortless for her. Like she just hit these notes and I just see it like you could see the colors of the notes. Like that's just how good she was.
Right.
Um and I was here for it because she got on stage with these with a pair of motherfucking platform, like 4-inch platform heels,
Hmm.
some fishnet stockings and a trench coat. That's all she had on. But
Really?
she was marching on that stage though. She had the girls up my knee for neck. She was walking all around. She had her hair twisted or braided. She was amazing. And like I said, she sounded great. The venue, first time I'd ever been into the House of Blues.
Hmm.
It was I thought it was a lot larger than it was. It was very quaint, very cute. And like even though I was in the balcony, it was really good. Like, we had great seats watching her. Nobody was stood up and did the whole thing of, yeah, nobody did all that crap. Everybody was sitting down watching her. She was all across. So it was a great time. Great time had by all. Great
Hmm.
time had by all. So I thoroughly enjoyed her. And I realized that this wasn't my first time seeing her. I remember I was, when I first heard about her, an ex took me to see her. I want to say at the Birchmere, years and years ago. I want to say like maybe like 2005 or 6 or something like that. And I was like, I appreciated her then at that point, but I was like, all right, she's somebody that I saw that was great. But I realized during the show, I was like, this wasn't my first time seeing her. So, but I think she had opened for somebody, or it wasn't like a whole show of her, but I remember seeing her before though.
Gotcha.
So, but it was,
Oh,
it was good.
Well, good. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yes. So that was my.
Did you do anything else fun and exciting while you were in?
No, I have not. Actually, you know what? I did some driving, as a matter of fact, out in out in these parts, and it's pretty much the same. Like, people still got fuck shit going on all across the country. So
You mean
yeah,
driving for Lyft?
yeah, like there was some fuck shit going on with people. Like, it's not bad, but it's still like, this is some fuck shit.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
it's the same. But
People are crazy everywhere.
yeah, like, this just crazy is not, there's not geographically bound. So yeah, but it's good, and I'm probably gonna do some more, because like, what the hell, like, why not? You know, so it's good. So that was me. I try to do some shopping as well. Listen, I'm not even going. We have some pending event that's for one of the super fans,
Right.
and I tried to get something all together, like, on a real fly tip. I am not happy with, let's just say this, I'm not happy with this whole idea of slim cut anything. That
Yeah.
does not work for me
No.
at all.
No.
So yeah, I'm annoyed. I'm absolutely annoyed. But I have some other options, and I'm gonna figure that out. So
Right.
we'll leave that where it is. But yeah, that's been my beginning of my week, and even my weekend. So how was your week and weekend, and anything new and exciting?
Well, first of all, we do have a special guest. He is off screen. I'll just say that it's my slave. I made him a corset. And
just so y'all know, it is a beautiful corset. I'm just letting y'all know.
You'll get to see it on the Twitters later, because this is not an Instagram and definitely not a YouTube friendly corset, because it as much as it conceals, it reveals.
But it's cute though. It's real cute.
It's very cute, And I was just saying to Dylan when I was talking to him earlier, I was like, oh my God, I'm just realizing this. I hope it doesn't pull all of his hair when I take the corset off. That would be terrible.
Oh,
I made
no.
the corset out of duct tape, and without thinking, I applied it directly to his skin, and he has lots of body hair. So,
and isn't the slave a little ticklish?
He's very ticklish and very sensitive. So,
Oh my goodness,
he'll be fine. It'll be perfectly fine. It won't be an issue at all.
Well,
sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He's a fucking professional, so he's good to go.
He's fine.
Yeah,
He's fine.
I mean, nothing to worry about, nothing to even think about. I mean, he'll be just fine.
Fine.
So yeah, be just fine. So Thursday we went to see the Eternals.
Oh, please! I have some mixed reviews, but because I haven't seen yet, but I have some mixed reviews.
Before we even get to the movie, right? So you all know how I am about movies, and I'm going to tell you a story, and I'm gonna try to keep it short. Picture it: Clinton, Maryland, 1977. Let me ask Alexa, what year did the original Superman movie come out?
The film Superman was released about 43 years ago on December 15th, 1978.
There we go. 1978. So picture it. 1978, December, which means that we saw it during the Christmas holiday. I say to my parents, who already know that I am the world's biggest Superman fan, have been and always will be the world's biggest Superman fan. And so that was 1978. So 7-year-old Dominion is like, I wanna go. And I don't ask for much from you people. All I want to do is go to the goddamn movie and see motherfucking Superman. So let's say the movie starts at
Oh,
7.
Atlas, that was so nice of you.
So so the movie starts at 7, right? And I'm smart. So how some kids are like, what time is it? I don't understand. I was like, I clearly knew. I was like, if it's 7 o'clock, that means we need to leave here by like 6:15 because Kendra's slow and my parents are slow. So that means that gives us plenty of time to get there. So that was the first thing because I didn't even tell the slave this part. My parents, like a lot of black parents, was like, we ain't paying for no fucking popcorn. So my mother's fixing like a whole fucking meal to go into the movie theaters. We got like fried chicken and greens and baked beans. Like
Y'all having a whole picnic in the movie
a fucking meal in the theater. So she's fixing all of that. And meanwhile, I'm like, chop, chop, let's go. Let's get there. Let's make it happen. So we didn't even leave. So it takes like 20-25 minutes to get to the theater, right? We didn't even leave the house until like 6:55. So, I was hotter than fish grease. We get to the movie, and by the time we get there, get in our seats and everything, Superboy has landed and is picking up the truck. So when we get back to school in January, all of my friends are like, dude, did you see the Superman is this and this? And then when he was on Krypton, and I'm like,
you have no idea. That was a whole nother movie for you.
What the fuck they are talking about. And people don't understand. If you are of a certain age, if you didn't see a movie in the theaters, you just didn't fucking see it.
No, not at all. It wasn't possible.
Because VCRs was in 1978, VCR may have been invented, but most people didn't start getting VCRs until like 1983, 84. We got our VCR in 1984. And then, of course, my father, who was a technophile, wanted to get a Betamax because it was higher quality than the VHS. But of course, capitalism being what it is, every movie was available on VHS.
Yes, indeed.
And most movies were not available on Betamax. So when did Superman come out? December 1978. When did I see the first 20 minutes of Superman? 1982. So 4 fucking years later, I was wrong. That wasn't even when we got HBO. We were at my grandmother's house. We went to visit my cousin, and they had HBO on satellite, and I finally got to see the first 20 minutes. And people was like making noise, and I was
like, if you don't shut it up. Yeah.
Shut it up.
Mm-hmm.
Shut it up. I was like, so people just really don't get that if you didn't see a movie in the theaters, you just didn't fucking see it.
Yeah.
Because I remember saying to someone, they were like, well, you just had to wait like a couple of weeks for it to come out on DVD. There were no fucking DVDs in 1978.
No. And then if it did come out on VHS, and let's just say you were part of the rental, whatever, Arrows Video or Blockbuster or whatever video, you had to go into the video store. You had to figure out if it was even there. You had to fight some of the people to figure out if it was there. You would call it up. Did Superman tape arrive? Can I get that? Can you hold it for me? Can you put it to the side? They were like, no, we can't put it to the side. Because listen, I was an Arrows employee when I was in high school, and right up when I left for college. And baby, the shenanigans that people would do, like fighting over videotapes and dropping stuff in the door.
If it was a popular movie,
baby,
when that girl came in, she was checked out continuously for like the first 5 or 6 weeks.
And like the store only got like maybe like anywhere from like 4 to 5 copies of it. But if it was brand new release, they would ship like the majority of them to one particular large store. So you might have 15 copies of it. But see, here's the thing. You get 15 copies on VHS, and then probably about after the first week, probably only 12 of them are available because 3 of them have already been either broken or just not returned, and they've been paid for it. And then as the week goes on, then the rest of them kind of get fucked up or just not returned. And so you're now down to like 3 in like a 3-week period. And then you're still waiting on people because they still got the movies out.
Right, and people are like, I'll suck your dick to get a copy of this movie.
Baby, it was everything. I would be coming into work and I would be like, "You work it? Oh my God, you work it, Earl? Can you put a tape to the side?" And I'm like, "No, I can't do that." Meanwhile, I'm sitting there thinking, "You got to get in line. My mother's trying to see this movie first. Now, you ain't
Right.
doing that. I
I live
can't
with
do that."
her shit.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm trying to put this to the side, and then I would make that phone call to my mom on my break, and I'm like, "Mom, you need to get here right now. When I hand you this bag, just go out the door and keep it moving." Because I was able to rent videotapes out,
Right.
but we weren't technically supposed to rent our videotapes out until after our shift, as long as the tape was
Hey,
in there.
Special, no, you did not miss us. We just started.
Yeah, but then, hey, Special, but then, of course, I would it would be, accidentally on purpose stashed to the side, or
Right.
you couldn't find it. You're like, "Oh my God, look at this. There's actually 3 copies here. I'll
Look at
take one."
that.
Exactly. So, I mean, that type of stuff happened. So, yeah, no.
So that established my lifelong it's not a phobia, or I guess you could jokingly call it a trauma, but
It's a trauma.
baby, if a movie starts at 7, I am there at the theater no later than 6:30. Now I will give it a little space now, because for the kind of movies I generally go see, like superhero movies or big science fiction movies or whatever, I see them in IMAX, and you usually reserve your seats. So that gives me a little bit more calm, that even if I show up a little later, some bitch isn't sitting in my favorite seat, because, and here we go.
Let's just call this cinema unpunctual traumatic disorder.
Exactly.
CPTD.
The movie Eternal started at 7. Now it's right across the street from where the slave lives, and it don't take me but a minute to get over to his house. So we get to the theater, and it's like 6:30 for a 7:00 movie where we've already got seats. All right, so strike one is, he was like, we're sitting in like L6 and L7, and I was like, L6 and L7.
Aren't they towards the end of the aisle?
Exactly. He has been to the movies with me.
They're like on the side, like you're gonna be in the middle.
He's been to the movies enough with me to know that whenever we go to the movies, I'm like, where is the exact center of the theater? If it's 2 of us, we are sitting, either I'm in the exact center and you're on the left or the right, or if the center line is that line, then we're sitting directly on that. But we are in the middle of the theater, so that the screen takes up your entire view. When
right.
He said
but you also got to be at the right height, though, because you can't be down too low, you can't be up too high. You got to be right up. You got to be right at eye level. It got to be right there.
Well,
right
L6
there.
and L7 was high up enough. I was like, all right, so because this isn't like the super IMAX where it's like 75 rolls. So L was pretty good. But then I was like 5 and 6, and he was like, but that was all they had available. And I was like, well, why are we even going tonight then? If we're gonna basically be sitting on top of the screen. What the fuck? And then the look on his face was like, but this was the best was available. So I was like, okay, all right. Relax, relate, release. So I let that go mostly. So we get to the theater, and so I'm like, all I want is a hot dog, because this is the AMC theater, so you can get the flavored popcorn. So I get the mixture of the caramel and the cheese popcorn and a hot dog. We are at 6:40 with our seats L5 and L6, or L6 and L7. So I'm like, I'm not worried. So he's like, all right. So he gives me the soda, or the cup for the soda, because they got the thing, and then tell you to go. You gotta wait for your hot dog, and he gives you the popcorn. So I'm waiting for my hot dog, and you fucking see the hot dog just rotating slowly on the thing, right? But they severely underestimated how many people were going to see this movie, and on top of that, movie theaters is one of them places where they don't pay you but $5 an hour or whatever the minimum wage is, and the girls don't want to do that kind of shit no more. So it was 100 people waiting for their hot dogs and their chicken nuggets and their popcorn or whatever the fuck they were getting. And so I'm standing there and I'm like, 6:40. It's no problem. It's no problem. Everything's fine. No problem. 6:45. No problem. Everything's fine. No problem at all. Not a problem. 6:50. Everything's fine.
It's fine.
It's
fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. 7 o'clock. It's fine. And then the dude is coming by. He was like, "What did you order? What did you?" I was like, "All I have is a hot dog. The hot dogs are right there. All you gotta do is put it in the bun. They used to have the hot dogs already prepackaged. They're right out there,
and just hand it to you, and you keep it moving.
Right. For whatever reason, I guess they put the hot dogs in the back. So now someone got to take the time to organize a hot dog and put it together. So by the time I got my hot dog, and so of course they don't have the little squirt thing. So for the ketchup and mustard, you got to get like 5 billion little packages,
individual little package,
and mustard. And so and the slave is like, "It's going to be okay," and I'm like, "It's fine. It's fine. It's fine." Bitch, and so I'm thinking, this is a science fiction movie. There's always at least, feel like whatever the last
15 minutes of like previews.
There were like
15 minutes of previews.
Went to see, me and best friend went to see some movie out at the IMAX theater.
But
out
again,
in Dulles.
It's like 15 minutes
like
of
20.
previews.
It was like almost 20-25 minutes worth of previews. So I'm thinking 7:15 we'd be good. They just getting ready to do the thing where you like IMAX, a 10, 9. Bitch, the movie had started. And I still don't know how far into the movie it was. They hadn't officially rolled the Eternals, credit thing at the beginning. But you know how Marvel movies are. It could be like 20 minutes, 25 minutes worth of movie before they even say Eternals. So, bitch, I was like, there's nothing I can do about this. But it took me all the way back to 7 years old. I was like, but I won't be able to see this ever again. I was so traumatized.
I am so sorry to hear you have suffered this cinema unpunctual traumatic
stress disorder.
I'm so sorry.
And then of course there was like 1,000 people in the theater, so then you got to be that business like, "I'm sorry, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me." And then there's always that one bitch that all they do is their big ass legs, all they do is lean back. I was like,
right. Your legs are not going to do nothing.
I'm going to step right on your feet on purpose. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to step right on your fucking feet. So then we sit down, and this bitch next to me. So I had pulled my mask down to like eat my popcorn and eat my hot dog, which I never even put the ketchup and mustard on because there were so many people in the theater. There was no room to spread out. So I didn't want to be like tear, squirt, tear, squirt, tear, squirt. I'm just going to, because I'm hungry, I'm just going to eat this dry ass hot dog. So I'm eating my hot dog and I have my mask down, and next to me, all I hear is
Luke,
I
am your father.
And I'm like, bitch, are you dying? What the fuck? And now she had her mask on, but I was like, you are doing a lot. And so I said to the slave, I was like, we should put our masks back on. Did you not hear her breathing? Yeah, she was breathing hard as shit. Like I couldn't even concentrate on the movie at first because she was breathing so fucking hard. And then she started coughing, and then she got up like 3 or 4 times. Luckily, she went that way, back to the end of the row instead of walking past me.
Baby, I don't do well with these distracting noises because I'd have been like, excuse me.
Well, she was breathing. I mean, I can't expect her to not
excuse me. No, ma'am.
What Freaky McNasty say? You eat before you see a movie. Don't do long lines. 2, gotta see previews. 3, I know I need a cocktail during the movie. 4, I must use the bathroom before the movie. That's because you done ate and got drunk before the fucking movie.
And there's where it is. That's what it is. But I ain't mad at you. But I can't. But
Right,
see, the
handle your
thing is,
business.
yeah, the thing is though, it depends because I can't go to a movie theater. I need to pay attention. I'm trying to pay attention to the movie theater, and
Right.
especially like a Marvel movie. There's always something in it that I just have to pay attention to because I want to see like the little nuances of stuff or like the little
Mm-hmm.
the I guess Easter eggs and like
Right.
the things that could tie into something later on. I'm like, oh, I missed that. Like I want to. That's the stuff I want to see, and that's why I love going to the movie theater and seeing Marvel movies as well.
Right. You know what the gag is? I am not even embarrassed by the fact that now when I'm at home, I turn on the closed captions to see what the fuck they're saying in the movie theater. Because I mean, when I was watching Dune and some other shit that I was watching, and so now it's just set up on my Disney and HBO Max apps that the closed caption automatically scrolls across the bottom
Pops up.
so I can hear what the fuck they're saying. Because there's a lot going on in the movie, and the sound isn't always up to snuff.
So you've watched the new Dune. Did you like it?
I watched the first hour, and then something happened with HBO Max, and I never went back to finish it. But I'm gonna finish it eventually.
Yeah, I haven't. It's not. The original was okay, but I don't think it's one of those things where I absolutely have to watch it. And my roomie is a Dune fanatic. Like he'll start talking to you about the Cuisinarts and the Doohickey, whatever their names are, and the Bene Gesserit Velociraptors and all. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, sure. So he was like,
"Go ahead."
So I mean, he was like counting down the days until the new version came out.
Mm-hmm. Dylan said it took me a year and a half to see the first 20 minutes of Captain Marvel. Now that don't make no goddamn sense in this day and age because Captain Marvel came out on DVR like 6 minutes after the movie came out.
Because Knuckles was out there with their little video cameras and digital copies of stuff.
That's another thing I don't do.
Stuff released, and I'm not gonna sit here and say I did it because when I saw Wolverine before it was actually in the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
now the worker is I happen to see the version that was post-production, so I saw like some of the computer generated graphics of like the green body and like the lines of like the fight scenes, but I put it together. I was like, oh, okay, all right, there we go. I'm like, all right, yeah. So I did see that ahead of time. So yeah.
The only bootleg movie I've ever seen like that is Dead Presidents when we were in college, and I was like,
oh yeah, I remember Dead Presidents.
Motherfuckers is walking in front of the screen and shit, and I was like,
listen,
I'm not that cheap to where I'd rather just pay the money to see the movie. But as for the movie itself, there was a lot of representation in the movie.
But I've had mixed reviews about it from people. And
it was It was definitely
I'm considering
not
the sources
like
of some
most,
of them now.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't like most other Marvel movies, but I still think it was decent. Out of 5 stars, I'd give it 3.5.
Okay.
3 3/4. I mean, they had a gay couple, and in the gay couple, neither of them were white. There was a black guy
now,
and a Puerto Rican guy.
That was one of the reviews that I got from someone, and I was kind of annoyed by it. They were like, "Well, I'm pro black love, and why couldn't it just be 2 black people?" Like, and I was just like,
but
what?
The other person was Puerto Rican, so it's like, listen.
But I'm sitting there saying to myself, does that really take away the fact that there's representation? And on top of that, does it take away from the fact that the movie was good? Like, is that what made it bad for you? The fact that it was it wasn't an all black couple? Like, I don't understand. But
well,
I
do often have issues with interracial couples where one of the couple is white, and not that I dislike white people, but it annoys me that interracial couples are typically shown with a white partner because that is the only way that white people can understand, people of color if they're in relation to white people. So, they can understand, oh, this white guy with this black woman, but they can't see two black people together. So, and even you see it in the gay community, you know, people are like, oh yeah, we've got such progress because, you know, there was this interracial gay couple on whatever. But yeah, most gay couples, gay or lesbian, are composed of people of the same ethnicity. And although in the grand scheme of things, is that a huge thing? No, but in the one scheme of things, it is. So anyway, so we had gay couples. The one of the superheroes was deaf. And not only was she deaf, but other people had learned, you know, her other fellow superheroes had learned sign language to communicate with her, and she was like a main part of the story. She wasn't just like a side character who just happened to be deaf.
Good.
Like her deafness was integral to the story. Like if she hadn't been deaf, there were things that wouldn't have happened in the movie, and in a positive way. You know,
Okay.
we obviously had Latina people with what's her name? Selma Hayek. He can't talk very well. He's got a spider gag in his mouth.
Listen, I was trying to listen because I was like, how is he gonna say? I was like, what?
Yeah, so,
I was like, okay.
Yeah, so there were Latina people, there were Asian people, there were Indian people, and all of these people had main roles. And I think that's honestly what a lot of people, and even for a lot of people of color, it unsettled them, because if you look at most of the Marvel movies have been centered around a European aesthetic and story.
So while that may be true, I just don't, the way it came across to me from the person that told me about this was that was the reason why it was a bad movie. And I was like, what?
That's just dumb to me.
I was like, what? So again, like I said, I'm considering the source, but
right.
Everyone else I've heard that they were okay with the movie. No one has came back to me and said it was amazing. I think I read somebody on Facebook saying something about like it was really good. If you know the story of them and the way they put everything together, it was just like the comics or whatever. And so I was like, okay, so for the most part, they've been mainly really good reviews. So I'm looking.
Yeah, I mean, I would never discourage anyone from going to see it, and I think it was a good movie. There was a lot that could have been better, but I feel like there was an attempt to be different in some ways and tell the story in a different way. And also, the way this story was told, even though it was an ensemble story, kind of like the Avengers, in the Avengers, it was still one or two main characters and the rest of the Avengers. Each one of the Eternals had an important story arc that we focused on for part of the movie. So It may have been a bit too ambitious to try to, you know, wrap all of those people into one thing. But I think it was good, and I'm looking forward to the next movies to come out from the franchise. And there were just some really beautiful people in it. Richard blah 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 that played Icarus is, you know, that's the current Boo. No, well, no Boo takes the place of he's number 2 on the cute British Boo list.
Okay, all right.
Number 1 always being Henry Cavill.
Oof. Well, listen, this is what we're going to do. So, wait a minute. I'm going to go back and say hey to a couple people. I see Mufasa. I see Dylan. I see Cortez. I see Louboutin. Louboutin actually sent a shout out to Azamek. He said, hey, Azamek. Freaky McNasty. What's going on?
He mumbled something that is probably hey.
Spesh, Atlas, Eccentric. Hi, everybody. Didn't get to see. I didn't see y'all earlier because I was fooling around with my screen. And so, you know, in the West Annex is a little different. So, but anyway, but now that I saw y'all, I'm just saying my hellos. And then, oh, hey, Creative Queen.
Hello.
Hey there.
So we got a lot to talk about. So
wait a minute. And listen, I'm sorry. And my baby boy is in. Listen, baby boy is in here. Hey, grandbaby. I will be. Yeah, I'll be calling you. But in any event, so I'm sorry. You were saying we have a lot to talk about.
Yes. So the first story is, I'm like, oh, yay.
But can we? let's just get okay. So here's what we're gonna spring it on everybody like it was sprung on us. Okay, so here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Joe Budden came out.
Hand me the microphone.
Joe Budden came out on the latest episode of the podcast saying he's bisexual.
Wow.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
I'm so excited.
So now that he's claiming that he's sexually attracted to both men and women, and this comes years after speculation about the retired rapper's sexuality. But then here's what he says. He said, "I'm bisexual. How do I spread this news? How do I spread the word? Yo, listen, I like guys and girls. Spread the word. I'm down." So he talked about this on his show, on his podcast. And so, he was romantically involved with Sin Santana, Kaylin Garcia, Tahiri Jose, and other women. But he's never been in a public relationship with a man. So we shall see what this is going to be and what this is going to bring. Was this some sort of stunt or something like that? I don't know. But listen, Joe, you can call me boo. I'll pick up the phone just so that we're clear.
I am not at all. So here's my thing.
Hey, Michelle. Hey, boo. Coyote.
The opinions of Dominion Onyx do not necessarily represent the opinions of the BGKH show. That said, while I do believe, and you ain't got to prove shit to me, let's just be clear. You don't have to prove anything to me. And while I believe that bisexuality is a thing amongst both men and women, oftentimes bisexuality for a lot of gays is a way station.
Yes, come on. That's what Sex and the City. Carrie said it best in Sex and the City. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. What did Carrie say?
Carrie said bisexuality is a stop on the way to Gay Town. She made that comparison talking about a squirrel. She said a squirrel is just. Wait, I can't get it out. She said a rabbit is just a squirrel wearing a fur coat.
Yeah, but that feels disrespectful, and it's not based on lived experience. And I give a shit what Sex and the City.
But
said.
Again, that was the comment.
I know, yeah. And I know it was a joke. But I'm trying to be like a little bit serious here, in that because a lot of gay men, have been hurt, traumatized by bisexual men. Because here's the thing, it's not that bisexuality doesn't exist, but the bi part of your sexuality is often only expressed behind closed doors. So while no one is expecting you to walk around sucking dick in public, Joe Budden is at least saying publicly he's bisexual. You and I know lots of people, or knew lots of people, who be like, I'm bisexual. Yes, but does your girlfriend know that you're bisexual? Do all of the other women you date know that you're bisexual? And they will say that they're dating women, but they're messing around with dudes. So until your relationships with either sex are on the same level, to me, it feels disingenuous to say that, yes, you are bisexual by definition because you're with both sexes. But when you say that, you're not giving the same energy to both. And that's just always been my issue with it, is that, the bisexual. And listen, it's not even when was the last time you fucked a female, because I don't really care about when, which is what Freaky McNasty said, and I respect that. But for me, it's not me checking you off to see what you're doing. It's me giving same energy to both parts of that identity. Because I don't need to know when was the last time you fucked a dude either. to say that you are gay. I mean, I'm not asking you that question either, but I'm saying that if you're going to claim that you're attracted to both men and women, you can't be attracted to it annoys me that you're attracted to women publicly and only attracted to dudes privately.
So, and all of this is this is my opinion.
Mhm.
All of this is relative to who you are and whatever
Yes.
your journey is. And so, but what I also am going to say to this is, I'm probably going to catch some flack for this, but this is my opinion, and so I can deal with you responding to my opinion. Um, there's I feel like there's some comedy in all of this, and so I kind of get the confusion from a cis het straight woman talking about bisexuality, or even a cis het man talking about bisexuality for women, and so I can see the comedy in it, in them trying to
Yes.
figure out what works in what their binary or their very binary way of thinking about sexual roles. So I can kind of see the comedy in that. I also do say, do what makes you feel good. End of story. Regardless, like if you feel good doing it, baby, go ahead. As long as you're not hurting anybody, I don't think you're doing anything wrong. My opinion.
Agreed.
So
100%. But yeah, it just, so for him, it's fine because he publicly came out bisexual on his podcast, which has dozens of listeners. So,
yeah, I listen. But
I don't know.
again,
His podcast might be the most popular podcast ever. I don't know. He's probably got way more listeners than we do. So it's cool that
he don't have better listeners than we do, but he
he
may
don't
have
have better
more.
listeners. No,
No,
I
no,
mean, quantity is not the same as quality.
that is true.
So,
But just as I'm gonna go ahead and again just repeat, just so y'all can put this on the blogs or anywhere else. Joe, you can call me.
he don't really toot my horn like that. I
Uh,
mean, he was
He can
never.
call me.
It's he says it says this comes after years of speculation about the retired rapper's sexuality. Based on what though? Because that's that and then that's that toxic masculine part. Because I was like, what has Joe Budden done to make the girls be like, oh, he might be gay?
But see,
Just
that's just
because
it. He hasn't done the overly masculine hyper masculinity that exists within rap. Like that's just not him. Like
right.
Anybody that doesn't fit that hyper masculine stereotypical image is questionable. So just like there was questions about Common when he first came out and things that he did and the way he rapped. It's just questions about what's his face. He has a gay brother, Chance the Rapper. Like
Maybe
anytime you
Chance
don't.
the Rapper and his brother can get it.
Oh, that's not even up for debate. But all I'm saying is because they don't exhibit the whole hyper masculine, there's a question about them. So that's where Joe Budden falls. And even though he had like that one hit, I
Wait a
can't really
minute.
figure out what it was.
Says he was being bisexual. He was being sarcastic. So you were saying, Eccentric, you're saying that
was he though?
Because when I saw the clip, it didn't sound like he was being sarcastic. But if he is, look up his full statement. It was
It
about
talks about the cancel
culture.
culture. So yes, it did. But again, I think this is that double entendre type of thing. Like he's like he said it, even if he was trying to be sarcastic about it, it's out there, and somebody's going to probably try him, and if they fit all the criteria that he's looking for, he's probably going to try to do it. But again, I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
I think that some of these celebrities they're very conscious of what they say and what they put out there because they've been in the game for so long and they know one thing could ruin everything. And so the fact he put that out there the way he did, I don't necessarily know how sarcastic he was really being.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, ultimately, I don't really care because it feels like I'm never going to be in a space with Joe Budden. It's not like I'm going to be at MAL and he's going to show up at MAL. But if he do, I mean,
take a number. He's mine.
Right. I feel like I got to fight some of the girls.
We're not gonna fight. We're not gonna fight.
No, we're not gonna fight. I would just end up like I'm gonna be in the elevator and push one, and that shit is gonna go plummeting to the basement.
Eccentric said TS does say a dick will get hard. Yes, it will.
Exactly.
Yes, it will.
Well, again, so good for him. If he
Yeah.
was sarcastic, fine. If he wasn't, good for him. Either way.
Yeah.
So some other, you want to talk about this Wicked casting news?
So so Wicked so years and years and years now, Wicked the play has been in there have been talks about making it the stage show that was based on a novel into a movie, and it seems like it's finally going to happen, and it looks like Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo were cast as Glinda and Elphaba, with an eye for production to start this film in the summer of 2022. And this was as reported by Deadline as well as on the Bleeding Cool website. So, and these two main roles are going to be everything, and I could just imagine this and how this is going to sound vocally. Like, I think this is going to be amazing if they are going to do the soundtrack to it, because again, there's a lot of singing, and I actually have not seen Wicked from
Me
beginning
either.
to end, and it's something that I definitely want to go to New York and actually see. But I'm looking forward to it, and I think it would be interesting to actually see. But I definitely want to see it on stage first.
Yeah, well, I don't like either of them for different reasons. So,
I like both of their vocal abilities, and for Ariana, some of her songs, I really do like them. And I think Cynthia is turning into a really good actress, but she has there's some questionable things that she has
she
said and done,
said yes.
and I don't necessarily know if I feel if I'm on board with her. But
Yeah, and Ariana Grande always sounds like a little girl who's stayed up too late,
playing dress up and trying to be an adult. Yeah.
Well, that's how she looks, and then her voice is fine, but I don't know, something about it just annoys me, and fine. But good for them.
Yeah.
Am I going to go see it? Absolutely. So it's sort of a wrap. Although I feel like it feels like we're always going to the same people for these things, and it would be great to find someone
new, fresh,
someone
raw
fresh.
talent.
I mean, I get that this is like a big name property, but this is an opportunity. I mean, yes, was Jennifer Hudson known before she did Dreamgirls, but it was really Dreamgirls that did it for her. I would love to have like an open casting call for Glinda and Elphaba, and even if it was one, not the other, because it would be great to find like the next big Broadway movie musical talent, instead of sticking with the same people. I get that this movie is targeted to the gays. So Ariana Grande, the only way they could make this more gay is if they replace Cynthia Erivo with Lady Gaga. And actually, I could see Lady Gaga as
playing Elphaba.
No, not Elphaba. Well, I could see her playing either role.
Come on, because listen, she is doing it up in the House of Gucci.
Yeah.
Like she is.
I mean, she seems to be a halfway decent actress, and we know she can sing. So I think that she would. I mean, and she has that kind of big personality. So I mean, I get that. Yeah, that's the thing. And I just don't see. Have we seen Ariana Grande act?
Well, she was a Disney kid, and so she's had a show, and so I'm assuming that she can act.
Spears.
But again, Britney's acting versus Britney's singing is completely different. Now, I am not saying that Britney is giving you the depth of a Meryl Streep, but I mean, she, all of the guest appearances I've seen
her
Britney
was young, Britney could sing her ass off, but I remember something that was like, they used to do Britney kind of like they did Patti LaBelle and tell her not to sing so loud because the other Disney kids was intimidated to be on stage with her.
You know what? I've never heard that, and I don't think that that's not true. I'm just saying I just can't imagine that for Britney.
Well, I can't imagine it based on what happened, but they made her this pop star, and I feel like if they had said, "Oh, she's more than a pop star; she's a great singer," that they had tried to develop her voice, she might be a different Britney Spears now.
That very well could be true, because I think if following those rules, if they did the same thing to Christina Aguilera, she probably wouldn't have been Christina Aguilera at this point, because she had such guff on that first album, and with the release of her second album, where she just went completely left from what she did from the first.
Right.
At the end of the day, it made them so much money. They were like, "Oh yeah, girl, do whatever you want to do."
Right. But by contrast, I couldn't see Christina Aguilera in either of these roles because her voice, it feels like she always puts that that gravel and that what is it called? Not bravado, but you know what I mean. So like I feel like she would try to Christina Aguilera it up, and it would be like, this doesn't feel like a movie musical. This feels like a Christina Aguilera concert, which is not what we're trying to get. That was the problem with what was that movie? Burlesque. It was like, girl, I mean, her voice.
Let me be clear.
Mm-hmm.
Burlesque was not the best cinematic showpiece ever.
No, it was not.
It was better than Showgirls.
I mean, that's damning with faint praise to say it was better than Showgirls.
It was better than Showgirls, but the soundtrack was definitely better than a lot of other movies, including Showgirls. Yeah, but I felt like it was part of the course for what she did. I felt like it fit.
No, so Mike, maybe I said it the wrong way. It's not as he sounded bad or that it was even a bad sounding song, but instead of something about the way Christina Aguilera sings takes you away from the character and
vibrato. That's what it's called. Yes.
Vibrato. Yeah. Takes you out of the character. And it was like, oh, we're listening to Christina Aguilera. I feel the same way about Christina Aguilera. And don't get me wrong, I like Christina Aguilera. The way that you kind of feel like
about J Hud.
And like, cause like in Aretha Franklin,
I'll take that. Yeah.
I mean, but I know how you feel because you were like, this is Jennifer Hudson singing Aretha Franklin. And I didn't feel that way. But anyway, so we're going on this. But yeah, I mean, good for them. So, but yeah. I do think Lady Gaga, I'd rather see Lady Gaga than Ariana Grande. Honestly.
Well, Halston is on my list as well as the House of Gucci. So I got to see what both is going on because I'm getting real good things about Gaga and Gucci. But I definitely want to go back and look at Halston too.
Yeah, me too. And that's on Netflix.
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I started watching The Harder They Fall. Baby, I fell asleep on it because I was tired. I fell asleep on it, but it started off really good. But I'm gonna come back to that.
Yeah, Slave said it was good, and I've heard other people say it was really good. So
yeah. So but in some local DMV news, construction on the Silver Line extension is complete. The project will be turned over to Metro. The Silver Line extension from Wheel Reston to Ashburn is complete, and according to the Metropolitan Washington Airport Authority, which is in charge of the project is years behind its original estimated completion date of 2016. And as it looks right now, the new extension will open around February of 2022, but they have a lot of testing that they want to do. They have a lot of simulation that they want to do, emergency drills and things of that sort. So while we are excited in the area for having this new Silver Line, we still have a minute before this thing is actually going to be up and functioning and actually running and running the way it's supposed to run. So,
right. I mean, that's going to be real cute to be able to just hop on the train and take the train all the way to the airport.
Yeah. So I'm definitely, and I think the other part of that too is because I feel that way. I don't know about you, but listen, Dulles. God,
she was a hop.
Dulles is not that girl for me. I am trying to do leaps and jumps and bounds and everything else. If you say Dulles, I'm like,
but Dulles often had the cutest fares, though.
They did, but you spent what you saved on a fare, you spent on the parking and the transportation and the tire realignment and the oil change, trying to get your car out there. Right. Jeez.
And now with the Metro, it's going to cost what? $6-7 round trip, and there you go.
Yeah,
you just hop on there with your luggage. And the airport station, you don't ever when you get on the train, you don't ever have to get it lets you out. I mean, yes, it's above ground, but you're right there at the station, so you walk underneath the roadway and all of that, and you're in the airport. So it's going to be super convenient. So
wait,
I feel like that's going to be a couple of hits for me.
Wait, Special said, confession, 12-year-old girl, love, love showgirl. Special, trust me, you are not alone. Because, baby, this is one of the first things that I realized that I love a woman in a ponytail and a pair of thigh-high, 5-inch heels. When she put that ponytail in and had them thigh-high boots on and went to that man's office and she did that nice little split. Right there. Right
So next up, Black Panther Forever, Wakanda Forever to shut down production while Letitia Wright recovers from onset injury. So she had an injury back in August of 2021, and it involved a sequence with a stunt rig in Boston. At the time, her injury was not expected to impact the film's shooting schedule. Director Ryan Coogler and the rest of the production have been filming mostly in Atlanta since Wright was injured. She has stayed in London while the shooting continued without her. Black Panther Wakanda Forever is set to be released on November 11th, so exactly a year from today. It had been delayed from July 8th, 2022. The new release date is expected to remain despite the temporary shutdown. In other casting news about Wakanda Forever, Variety exclusively revealed that I May Destroy You creator and star Michaela Cole joined the cast in an unknown role. Additionally, it was revealed that Dominique Thome, who will play the up-and-coming superhero Ironheart in her own Disney Plus TV series, will be introduced in Black Panther ahead of her TV debut.
Yeah. So good for them.
Hey, Quintessential. So yeah, so good for them. I'm super excited about that. That is that's great casting news. And I'm looking forward to seeing or some other like side casting news. I heard that they are looking obviously to maintain Chadwick Boseman's legacy, and they're going to reveal that T'Challa and Nakia, played by,
was that Lupita
Nyong'o, had a child. So
see, I think this is part of the liberties with the character, because I don't think that they actually did.
I'm not saying it happened
No,
in the
no.
comics. I'm saying for the movie,
right?
they,
No.
Yeah.
That's something I'm just thinking out loud. I think that's probably one of the liberties. I don't know if, because I wasn't a Black Panther comic book reader, but I don't remember him having a kid either in the from what I've seen of him. But I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking that that's just one of those things that I think they took liberty.
Yeah. So tell us about this Travis Scott story.
Listen, so we got a lot of stuff going on with this Travis Scott story. Let's save this for last. Can we jump into this Stunt Queen for the week?
Bitch. All right. So here's
let's just jump right into it.
I have a story about this. Something like this happened to me.
So go ahead.
The headline, I lost everything. More than 160 former Hertz customers are suing company over claims it falsified stolen car reports, landing some drivers in jail. So 165 customers from Delaware, California, Florida, Illinois, and other states have come forward filing legal complaints against Hertz. Each of them claimed to have rented cars from the company only to be stopped, arrested, and sometimes jailed over accusations that the vehicle was reported missing. So we'll talk about a couple of cases real quick. In one instance, James Tolan of Houston was stopped by police last year, just 2 days before Christmas. He was leaving a contracting gig and said the officers had their guns drawn as they ordered him to exit the vehicle, lift his shirt to show he was not in possession of a weapon, and slowly make his way towards them during the traffic stop. When officers handcuffed him, he explained that he'd been pulled over because the vehicle was listed as stolen. And Tolan was like, he was very perplexed. He said the officers immediately saw him as a quote unquote felon, but that perception changed when Tolan showed the officer his rental agreement that showed him as the listed driver. That's when he heard the officers tell Hertz, "Do you know what you guys put this guy through? He's here for a stolen vehicle. His contract is valid. We're going to give him back the vehicles, and you guys need to get a better system."
Now, listen, get into
I
this.
don't know if James Tolan white, because I feel like if that had been a black guy, they'd have been like, the best we can do is let you go, but you got to walk home.
That might be true. But now here's the second case. In Delaware, Hannah aka John Ayub, said his 2019 long-term vehicle rental company with the company turned into a nightmare that cost him everything. Ayub made weekly payments of $300 a week to extend his truck rental. Each time he saw the funds deducted from his account and received Hertz confirmation of his rental being in good standing. So, but he was absolutely dumbfounded when Hertz notified him that he was no longer an authorized driver, just one day after confirming his third rental extension. A month later, he was arrested and charged with the car theft in Delaware and New Jersey. He would spend 3 months behind bars. It was the Digital Journal of Delaware Online reported. They said that they had no record of the extension on the vehicle despite speaking to them a day before and receiving confirmation. He said everything just turned into a nightmare from that point forward. I lost everything, my life, my reputation, everything. His case was later dismissed after review of bank statements, rental agreements, and Ayub's recordings of his calls to extend the rental week by week. Now, the part that's pissing me off is Hertz is standing by its stolen car report, saying the vast majority of these cases involve renters who were many weeks or even months overdue returning vehicles and who stopped communicating with them well beyond their scheduled due date. Now, I had a conversation with Freaky McNasty or Maximus about this, and I remember having this conversation about Hertz going out of business, or there's conversation about this. Well, last year when the coronavirus hit, Hertz filed bankruptcy in an effort to restructure its financials as the car rentals hit a screeching halt. Along with that filing came the firing of 12,000 employees in the United States and furloughing at least 4,000. This past week, the plaintiffs in the false stolen car claims were in a Wilmington, Delaware courtroom, trying to persuade the bankruptcy judge to allow their cases to go forward as Hertz was trying to get them tossed. Now, a company spokesperson continued and said situations where vehicles are reported to the authorities are very rare and happen only after exhaustive attempts to reach the customer.
Well, clearly that's not the case.
Exactly. Now, their Pennsylvania attorney representing several complainants said, at the end of the day, Hertz needs to be held accountable for falsifying their reports. Well, Hertz attorney was saying if you're misstating half of the equation there in the police report and you're telling the police this person owes us money when in fact Hertz was fully paid, that's a serious failure. And so what they've seen is that all these reports they're saying what we have seen is that all these reports are unverified. All of them have false information, including backdating rental extensions and falsifying payment information. Listen, I can't speak on anything else, but what I will say is Philadelphia's home. I love it to death. I'm never going to say anything bad about it, but baby, I know how she rolls. And when you between the Philadelphia, New Jersey, and Delaware area, when shit ain't right, shit ain't right. And
Right.
I just something that
there's a whole lot going on. This is going to uncover that the girls was pulling stunts and shows with whatever, and this isn't a situation because they said months and even years behind, and in both of these cases, these people, because here's the thing, this is not a case where someone was months behind and they paid it up and then the records didn't catch up.
Right.
In the first case, the guy had just rented his fucking car and had his active rental agreement with him. The second case, dude had been renting it month to month. The money was being deducted from his account, and he was getting an email confirmation that his rental had been extended. So this is a failure on their part, and for them to pull this stunt. Now,
this bankruptcy and then, but what got me was the bankruptcy
in jail.
Right. And you did this bankruptcy trying to include all this stuff in here. See, that part right there is the part for me where I'm like, so y'all knew y'all were raggedy and you want to just put all this in here and get the whole thing expunged?
Right. Because if you do that, then, once it's filed, once the bankruptcy is sort of declared, you can't then come in later and be like, oh, I want to sue because there's no more money to be distributed to
raggedy
the credit as raggedy as shit. So here's what happened to me. Back in college, I don't know how your fraternity is, but one of the things we make the pledges do is we make them go on a scavenger hunt. So we are in a residential neighborhood in Gainesville, Florida, with our brothers from the University of Florida. So it was me and Edgardo, who was Puerto Rican. So we are in this rental car that I had rented because I flew into town. That's right. I flew into Orlando partied and bullshitted in Orlando, drove up to Gainesville to party and bullshit and do this fraternity stuff. So we're in this rental car, and the police call, because of course the police come, because someone says there's people lurking in a residential neighborhood. And I was like, so I put on my rich white woman voice. I was like, sir, I'm not a college student. One, I'm not a college student. Two, this is, we are here for some fraternity stuff. And luckily the cop was a graduate of the University of Florida. He was in another fraternity, but he knew how fraternities roll and whatever. So he was like, no problem. All right, y'all just wrap it up, because, you really shouldn't be out here in these people's neighborhood, at 2:00 in the morning. Just wrap it up. Do whatever y'all need to do and keep it pushing. Then the older cop gets out of the car, and, he's old school. So he's like, let's see their license and registration just in case. And, the young cop is like, this is unnecessary. I've already checked their driver's license. They are who they say they are. And then he's like, this car is stolen. And I was like, what are you talking about? Oh, no. He said the tags didn't pull. It was Hertz. And so I was like, sir,
right.
Can't go to rental agreement. This is the name on my driver's license. This is the name on the rental agreement. This is the driver's license number. This registration signed by them and signed by me is issued for this vehicle with this tag 2 days ago.
And this VIN number. I was like, that's a whole lot to go through to be sitting in a residential neighborhood. But it was a black guy and a Puerto Rican guy. In other words, two black guys sitting in a car that looks like it's stolen with, tags that hadn't been registered. So the other guy, I don't know if he was tired or whatever, but he sort of let it go. And baby, when I got back to the Hertz counter at Orlando International Airport, I lit their ass up. Everybody from the national counter and Enterprise and Budget and Ace heard me go the fuck off. I was like, how would you release this car? Because basically, like they're a large organization, right? So they get a lot of paper tags that they can sort of do whatever they want to, but you're supposed to go through this. You're supposed to, and this is like in the early 90s. So this is before everything was electronic. So they're supposed to call and be like, okay, this tag number is now officially on a vehicle. So they had a stack of tags that they were giving out that hadn't been properly registered to vehicles. And they called me out. It was like, well, sir, we're so sorry. We'll refund you. I was like, I almost got arrested over this shit. And then the manager came out, because now I had gone from, rich white woman to justifiably angry Negro. Well, the justifiable part was never going to be, the justifiable part was on our side, but not on their side. But but trust me, it's justifiable.
They weren't scared of me, but they were more like, everybody can hear how badly because my voice gets very loud and carries when I'm upset. So I was letting them have, baby, they gave me like what amounted to like 4 or 5 weeks worth of free rentals.
Listen, as a minimum, and they should have. Yeah. Hey, bougie girl. Hi.
Well, come on. Meet me at the altar in your white dress. We ain't getting no younger. We might as well do this.
Do it
for a while, girl. I must confess.
Let's get married. Come on, girl.
All right. So anyway, so that was my Hertz story. So this doesn't surprise me that they're still carrying on, and I hope they get the fucking book thrown at them, because at least for the first dude, he was able to be released. But I am very familiar with being arrested under false pretenses and trying to get that cleared, because this dude had a job. He had a job.
You've
and he
locked him up
spent
for 3 months.
3 months in jail.
3 months.
3 months. And they aren't going to be around when you have to explain to every employer. And even if there are no charges ultimately filed, the arrest record is still there.
Yep.
And sometimes,
The arrest
companies
record-
aren't supposed to do this.
Yeah.
But if they see an arrest record on your thing, they don't even go any further to ask you what happened or whatever. So they need to expunge his record, so it's a lot going on with that. So fuck them.
Yeah. I hope that they get everything that he is going after, because I'm sure he's seeking damages like nobody's business. And I hope that he gets everything he needs. And I just, it's unfortunate, but I just hope he gets everything he goes after and more, because that's just a total fucking inconvenience. Totally.
Yeah, and it would be bad enough if it was just these two people, but at least 165 people have done this. So that means there's a ton more.
Oh,
That's just 165 that have come together. And now that people know that there is a lawsuit, I mean, I'm not going to do it because that was literally 25 years ago, and ultimately nothing happened. And I ended up getting 3 weeks of free car rentals out of it. But I mean, I'm sure that dude is not the only one who ended up going to jail, and if the person was black, can you imagine? Now so many things could have gone wrong here. So
yeah, it's just, but anyway, so speaking of so many things going wrong, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about this whole AstroWorld and the Travis Scott AstroWorld Music Festival that happened in Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sure you all have heard about this, but in Houston, Texas, at Travis Scott's AstroWorld Music Festival, at NRG Park around 9:30 p.m. After concert goers surged towards the stage during the rapper's headline set, there were several deaths that happened during this event. Those who were killed ranged in age from 14 to 27. There were a total of about 25 people that were actually hospitalized, and people are still trying to figure out what the hell is going on or what happened. Like, what was the story? Okay, so here's the thing. During this concert, public safety authorities and witnesses provided some information about what happened. They said the crowd, for whatever reason, began to push and surge towards the front of the stage, which caused the people in the front to be compressed up against the gates and all the other barriers that they had. Madeline Eskins, an ICU nurse who was at the festival, said the situation escalated as a countdown clock neared the moment where Scott would appear. She and her boyfriend arrived at the stage around 6:03 to land a spot near the front. And about 30 minutes before Scott took the stage, the crowd got more and more packed. There are some videos that show a person climbing onto a platform and where a camera operator was filming, and he was trying to get them to stop the show and was yelling about stuff that was going on. Like, there was a whole bunch of chaos, and it's just no one seemed to know what was going on. Even Travis Scott, who was on stage, it appeared that he didn't necessarily know what was going on, but then he had moments where he kind of figured out something's not right. I got to figure out what's going on. Like, and then he realized that what appeared to be someone getting crushed or someone dying, because that person, I believe, was one of the people that actually died, was, they needed help. But here's the thing. I want to stop first and go back and talk about the 8 people that died. John Hilgert, who was 14. Brianna Rodriguez, who was 16, Axel Acosta, who was 21, Mirza Baig, and hopefully I'm not mispronouncing Mirza's name, who was 27, Rudy Pena, Franco Patino, Jacob Juranek, and Madison Dubisky were the 8 people that were killed. And again, these are the people that were murdered. There were, I shouldn't say murdered, but these are people that are deceased. There are still several other people that were injured, at least 25, maybe more. But again, these were the people that lost their lives. In this confusion, there was a whole thing with some of the security guards and possibly someone saying that there was drugging and someone was being pricked. And one of them happened to be a security guard who was reaching over to restrain or grab some of the people, said he felt a prick in his neck, and then he went unconscious, and the medics had to administer Narcan, which is something that you give to people that are suspected of like an opioid overdose. And then he was revived, and the staff, like they noticed that there was a prick similar to a prick that you would get if somebody was trying to inject you, somewhere on his neck or on the back of his shoulder. I can't remember where it was.
Mhm.
And then the other part of this story is, as I mentioned earlier, Travis Scott was on stage. Like, did he actually see what was going on? Did he know what was going on and still try to perform? And like I said, it seemed like he was aware, but then it seemed like he wasn't. So at the same time, people are not quite sure what was going on. But the problem with this is Travis Scott has a history,
Right.
a long history of things going on with him while he performs. So a couple
Things
of
that he
things.
instigates.
Yes. In 2017, Scott encouraged a concert goer at his Terminal 5 show in New York City to jump off a second floor balcony, remarking, "I see you, but are you going to do it?" That's one thing. Another thing, at that same show, a fan, Kyle Green, was paralyzed after being pushed off a third floor balcony. This is reported by Rolling Stones. Now, in 2019, during the second AstroWorld Festival, hundreds of people rushed metal barricades to break into the event. 3 people were hospitalized with minor leg injuries from trampling as well. This is something else that Rolling Stone noted. Now, also, in 2015, Chicago police arrested Scott after Lollapalooza after he allegedly urged fans to climb over security barriers and come on stage. And again, reported by Rolling Stone. He pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct in 2018 for an incident at Rogers, Arkansas, a concert the year prior. Local police said Scott encouraged people to rush the stage. Hip Hop Lately also reported that Scott has deleted a tweet from in May in which he seems to support sneaking wild fans into his shows. So Travis has been instigating, or has had a part in inciting this surge on more than one occasion, and several different events. As a result of this and this past event at AstroWorld and several other things, there have been lawsuits that have been filed against not only the Live Nation, but also Travis Scott as well as Drake. And there have been at least 18 lawsuits, and there's going to be more.
Why was Drake? Oh, he was performing too.
Listen, he was mentioned in there, and he was mentioned in at least one of the suits. Now, don't know why, but again, this is what it is that he's been reported. It has been reported on one website that the ticket prices for all of those who attended were returned to the concert goers, and they were up to like $500 a ticket for like 50,000 people. So what is that like? What is that, like 25 million? Is that what we're talking about?
A lot.
A lot of damn money. Now, Travis Scott has been working with authorities, and he's been trying to be the good steward and kind of show, that he's caring. And he also said that he was going to pay for the funeral costs for all of those who were killed. And that was made by a representative for him Monday about this event. This has to have been one of the weirdest things that has happened in quite some time. And I just don't, it's, even though you're trying to make logical sense out of it, even the order of how stuff happened, it's still just, it's mind blowing. It's like, what actually really happened? Like, what is going on here? I don't know. It makes me really wonder if I will ever go back into a large setting like a concert again, especially
Yes, you will, because the girls aren't carrying on like that at the Janet Jackson concert.
No, they're not. And listen, the girls are not trying to mess up their hair,
Right.
nor
I
their
mean,
shoes,
this is
nor their fits.
and
So
Janet Jackson would never be like, now here comes the shade. Oh my God, what's going on? Everybody, please stop running. Please stop it. Slow down, everybody. Oh my God, why is it? Please, everybody, be calm. Be calm. I'm saying this as loud as I possibly can. Be calm.
So are we done with this shade, or are we done with this right now? Okay, we're done for this right now. The difference between
I'm not totally done. I'm really Epic. This is specifically for you, Epic. I know that you are the biggest fan. You're one of the janitalia. No, the janitics. You're one of the biggest the jam fam. Even though fam doesn't rhyme with jan, but okay. But you're one of the biggest ones. Stay back. Stay back. Let the ambulances through.
I want y'all to understand that all this shade is coming from all the loved one. This is where all this shade is. And so I'm going to reciprocate the shade.
Uh-huh.
Ella is dead.
Wow. That's
So
mean. That is just mean.
I was just stating a fact.
But no. So yeah, so this feels,
so let me be clear. I am not that. I am that shady to the
but
fans.
no, it's fine.
Like,
but no,
I
don't think that the kind of concerts that you and I or most people that watch this would go to. I mean, yes, listen, a stampede could happen anywhere because
absolutely.
I remember the Kappa Luau at FAMU. Was it the Kappa Luau? Yeah, it was the Kappa Luau. And we were all on this platform at Leon County Civic Center, like 4,000 people. And all of a sudden, all you hear, and you look and you see this wall of humanity rushing towards you, bitch.
You go in the opposite direction.
Right. I just started running. And
if it's coming this way, you're going that way.
In fact, what I did was I didn't even run directly away from the crowd because those were steps. I ran diagonally. So that, I was going down the steps, but also diagonally, and this girl fell in front of me. I scooped her ass up, and we just kept it pushing. So, cause no, but this feels like he's been encouraging this because, he says public safety officials, blah blah blah. Some videos appeared to show person climbing onto a platform. Other videos appear to show people dancing on and blocking an ambulance that was trying to get to the crowd. Videos also show people getting on top of security vehicles. It doesn't seem like those fans knew what was going on and why the vehicles were trying to get into the crowd. What the fuck did you think an ambulance was doing there? Are you that stupid? What the? I mean, maybe it's just I'm in just a different age and whatever, but it wouldn't even, first of all, anybody's vehicle, whether it was a police vehicle or ambulance or your private vehicle or my private vehicle, it would just never occur to me to want to get up onto a vehicle and dance. First of all, because my balance is bad.
Wait, because now you remember, it's like, here I am once again on top of a damn Chevy Camaro with my legs in my air, my underoos are showing, and I got barbecue sauce on my nipples, and this is where I am.
Here's what it is. Here's the video. No, the voiceover starts in the air. You might be wondering why I'm falling from the top of the ambulance. Well, it all started when my friend Epic was like, "Go throw it up there. Throw it up there, girl. You'll be fine. You will be fine." Yes, we have all had 25 drinks, but we are fine. And then that damn coyote gave me one of his coyote bites, and girl, but it was fine. We got up there, and then we started doing, and just like when we was in Puerto Vallarta, Epic started bouncing up and down, and I was like, "Bitch, if you don't start bouncing up and down, we're going to fall off of this fucking ambulance." The slave remembers we was all up on top. We're gonna be on top of that ambulance, and then I'm like, "Whoa, whoa!" And then just when he could have caught me, Epic gave me just the slightest push. I always knew that bitch was against me. I always knew that bitch was against me.
It was very Death Becomes Her. It was like
very that. It was very that. But yeah, so it's just this, and people will apparently taking TikToks and all this other shit. Listen, I might be taking a TikTok once I've reached safety.
Exactly.
But while I'm in the middle of the shit, my first thought is that I think I should make a TikTok of this. It's just, I just feel like this whole idea of world star and the instant fame that comes from, being the person that films some shit live is just crazy. But it's all fueled by a personality that does shit like are you going to jump to a person on the second floor window? Now, if his ass had jumped, I'd have been like, well, that's on you, dummy. So, anywho, but yeah, so I mean, I feel terrible about this, but I feel like listen. I'm first of all, I don't want to be in the front of the crowd anyway, because you spend the whole day looking up because you're not at eye level. The stage is at least 6 or 7 or 10 feet above you. So you're looking up. So I'm like, fine, let me be in the back. Also, because I always got to know where the exits are. I always got to be able to get the fuck out of that bitch.
Wait, Robert Hubbard said the death becomes a twist and shout. He said it's the 5 million likes. It's
exactly.
Like, ooh, 5 million likes. Let me go ahead and tape this real quick.
Right. I'm going to do a death drop off of the ambulance. It was like, I know I'm going to break my back. But hopefully I'll make enough money to pay my medical bills. Because this is what dumb people do. Dumb people be doing these stunts and shit. And then like the kids that do these skateboard tricks. And or like there was one dude, like there was a BMX biker, and this bitch was in like a full body cast, and he was like, I'm going to do it again as soon as I heal up. I'm like, girl, you ain't got no money as it is, but you know, God bless
the fact that you are trying to do it again after you heal up shows you that it was already fucked up because you did it and you got fucked up, and then now that you need to heal, you're then going to try to do it again.
Right. So there's a couple other stories that I want to hit quickly. Iyanla Vanzant reveals death threats that led her to end Fix My Life. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but the point is that she was on what is the name of this show with Tamron Hall, and says because you go into people's homes, you're in their bathroom, you're in their kitchen, and then they think they know you and they have the right to say certain things because we're not clear and conscious of the energy we send out. She said, so through the emails, through social media, people will come into my home. I was getting death threats because they didn't like something I said about it, Van Zant recalled. And I'm like, I want to be free of this. I don't want this. I got death threats around certain shows, around certain issues, around things that I said. Here's what I'm going to say to that. You know why? Because you're not a licensed therapist. And a lot of the shit that you said, because you didn't come at it from a therapist point of view. I'm still like, if you're going to be counseling people, you do not call your person you're counseling a gutter snipe. And I don't honestly give a shit about
you're right. You're absolutely
so
right.
If that was giving what it's supposed to, if that's how you're giving on the show, then don't be surprised if you give hood rat counselor on the show, you're going to get hood rat response back.
Yeah.
Real doctors, yes, do some real doctors get threats, but generally doctors don't get that because they maintain a professional demeanor with their clients. So, I mean, I don't want her to get death threats, but I mean, really, if you get down to the level of your clients, then they're going to feel comfortable responding to you with that same kind of foolishness.
Well, so the other thing is, in that same vein, Dr. Phil is also not a licensed psychologist. And so,
right.
While they are the good auntie and uncles, and I think they give their advice can be sound for some people. I think they still need to stay in the auntie and the uncle range. I think that when you do that, you have to be ultimately, which is similar to what you were saying, ultimately responsible for the response you get back. So don't get all, high and mighty and righteous, and you don't necessarily know why. If you can't figure out what the possible implications of how you talk to someone can affect you negatively,
right?
That's a fundamental issue as a therapist or a counselor.
Right. And I couldn't get into her books when I was like, bitch, you wanted me to pay $30 for this book and it is full of misspellings? No, ma'am. I just can't. So after that first book, I was over her. I was like, no, I know.
Wait,
No,
Oprah-
I am not taking relationship advice from a bitch who doesn't even know what the fuck a dangling participle is.
Oprah done signed off on something that she put her name on, and there were some misspellings in that book.
This was before, remember, because she was already Iyanla before she met Oprah. So, I bought her first book in the meanwhile or whatever.
Okay.
It was like yellow and blue. And I was reading, I was like, bitch, there are like a ton of misspellings in these first 20 pages. So I was like, I never even finished the book. So
yeah, she's
sitting in a box around here somewhere. But one thing I will say about Dr. Phil, although he's full of shit too, Dr. Phil does at least say, here's my homespun folksy advice, but then he will have a licensed therapist come and work with the people afterwards. Iyanla was just like, I'm going to give you hood rat auntie advice like I'm a real therapist. This is like your chain smoking auntie, like, you need to just leave that nigga.
Right, but now the difference is he does have a PhD, but he's not a licensed and practicing psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Or psychologist, I'm sorry. Because when you can prescribe medicine and when you cannot. I think he is psychologist, I believe. But yeah. But again, and I'm agreeing with you with Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil has had some pretty explosive people as well. Now there's stuff he probably has never talked about, and maybe he has had some threats. I don't know. But yeah, I haven't heard anything about Dr. Phil about having these types of responses.
Right. So in other Black news, Northwestern State University of Louisiana chooses first Black president in its 137-year history. His name is Dr. Marcus Jones. He was chosen to be the 20th president of Northwestern State University of Louisiana and blah, blah, blah. He's a former professor of business law and international business. He's been a faculty member at that same school for 23 years. He previously served as both vice president for university affairs and executive vice president for university and business affairs. NSU is also where Jones got his undergrad degree. So congratulations to him.
Good for you.
He's the second Black person to make Negro news. Last week, The Root reported that Dr. Andia Augustine Billy became the first Black faculty member to be granted tenure at Centenary College of Louisiana in the nearly 2 centuries since its founding. So good to both of them. So congratulations.
Congrats.
And so lastly, in Black news, Paula Patton says she is Black, not biracial. She says she finds the term offensive and superficial. So she said that she was on Clay Kane's podcast.
Clay.
Yes. Because she had previously said in previous interviews that she finds the term biracial offensive. It's a way for people to separate themselves from African Americans, a way of saying, quote, I'm better than that. And Clay Kane asked her if her feelings had changed in the past way. She stated, I feel the exact same way. That's not to say I don't embrace my mother, who was white, and everything that she brought to my life, but it was my mother who let me know the world is going to see you as Black, and that is who you are. So don't have any questions about that. Many other high-profile figures, such as Halle Berry, Zendaya, and even Barack Obama, also identify as Black, despite being of Black and European heritage. And I'm with her because, listen, if you want to identify as biracial, that's fine. But, you can identify as whatever you want. But the world is going to see you as
I identify
as
trans skinny.
Right. Well, we'll just leave that there. But if we are in the car, if me, you, and some biracial person is in the car with us and the cops pull us over and say, all you niggers get out the car, he better get his biracial ass out the car too. But I'm one of those people is like, I don't want you to be Black if you don't want to be Black. So that's fine. So because I really don't want you to be Black if you don't want to be Black. But realize that don't come to Black people when shit go wrong in your life. So, when the police pull you over, don't be trying to stand in solidarity with other Negroes, because we've been trying to be in solidarity with you and you didn't want no parts of that. I'm biracial. Okay, girl, fine. Every Black person in this country, unless you are an immigrant from Africa, is biracial.
How about that? That's the other part. That is the other part. See, right there, bougie girl, I'm right there with you. Listen, caramel chick with a 30-inch waist. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm
right. So we are all biracial, but listen, if you mix anything into white milk, it is no longer white milk.
Nope.
Ever. It's always going to be various shades of chocolate milk. No matter if you take white milk and chocolate milk, you are going to get chocolate milk that is diluted, but still recognizably chocolate for the most part.
Yep.
And so, don't be coming to us when, you don't get into the school that you want or whatever, because, solidarity goes both ways. You don't get to be Black when it's to your advantage and not when you don't want to. So good for you for being biracial. So knock yourself out.
Yeah. Well, on a personal note, I want to give a shout out to the Onyx Pledges, my little brother Dominique. I don't know if he's watching tonight or not. I'm not quite sure, but welcome again to the process. And yay, go Pledges!
Woo! Hallelujah! Is that it?
Yeah, that was all.
Beautiful bean footage.
Yeah, I'm good for the bean footage.
3, 2, 1. Well, all right.
We're back.
We are back. Yes.
Listen, shout out to Eccentric, because if you like the episode, click the like button. Yes.
The like button, right down. Yeah, right down.
Where?
Right down here. Over there. Over there.
It's somewhere in this down area.
Yeah, it's in the lower third in the right-hand corner of your screen.
Look down to the private parts.
Yeah. So like this video, share this video with your friends, and subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you can get all of the notifications about this beautiful shoe. So we thank you all for showing up. We really appreciate your time. And, the slave is sitting here, ready to get out of this corset. So
is he? But don't we have another? I thought we had this tonight. We're doing the 45-minute edition on the show. I thought that's what we were doing.
True. That's true.
I thought we talked about that. Yeah, it was for the 10th. I know we talked about that. I think we can do the other. Well, it's up to you.
Eccentric said, if you think Dominion was dead wrong for pretending to be Miss Jackson, click the subscribe button.
Thank you, Eccentric. Appreciate it.
Eccentric, what are you talking about? You're my #1 fan. I'm so excited to see you. Thank you. And please hit the subscribe button. You're one of my favorite Janetics or Jam Fam, Jumanji, July, 4th of July, Jambalaya, Demita, Dominique Dever, Jamutta,
Listen, eccentric.
212.
I feel
Yeah.
eccentric. I feel it. I got this. I got this right here. I'm sorry, Dominion. Here you go.
I love you.
Love you too.
Thank you all for coming out. We really do appreciate you spending this
Yes,
time
indeedy.
with us. We had a wonderful time as always.
And wait. Bougie girl, this is your last week as a non-Murray woman.
All the single ladies. All the single ladies.
Right.
all the
It's your
single
last
ladies,
week as a
all
single
the single
lady.
ladies.
Come on. Your last week. Come on, girl. This your last
I'm
week.
just a little mad we didn't get an invite to the bachelorette party.
That would
I
have
could
been
have been
fun,
a stripper.
though.
I mean, you don't want no fat out of shape stripper?
We'd have broke that thing down. Listen,
Okay.
with the fans,
There
and
you
we'd have
go.
lit all the 90s music. And listen, we'd have had our music in the background. Don't come at me, don't come at me.
Exactly.
Because we just classy like that. I'm just saying, that's what we
Mhm.
do. We classy like that. So I mean,
Mhm.
we always bring the class. So
My baby left me.
oh, but wait a minute. Oh, but Bougie, that's going to happen. Let me be clear. We will nipples and barbecue sauce. Gee, girl, that's a different story. While I had
No,
so
you know where we're gonna go, Bougie Girl? We are going to the Crafty Crab to get the boom saw on some motherfucking corn on the cob.
yes. Yes, come on to the Crafty Crab. Listen, we're gonna stumble outside on that rocky terrain.
Exactly.
we gonna get it home. Listen, we got this. We got
Exactly.
it. Girl, we got you. We got you.
Any last words, Epic?
Again, really, really, really thank you all. And I'm also I need to thank my host, because he's been hosting me here in the Western Annex. So thank you so much. And I've invaded his space, but I've been allowed to film here. So I appreciate it. I don't know if he's watching or not. I haven't seen him in here, but thank you so much. Thank you so much. And like I said, we say this all the time about the show. You guys can spend your Wednesday nights doing anything else, but we're definitely appreciative and glad you guys spent it with us. So you guys bring us a little joy, and have gotten us through this parabola panini pizza pocket pie thing. So I definitely appreciate it. So we are. I'm pretty humble about this. So thank you so much. We appreciate you guys.
As am I. And with that, we will say, as we usually do, thank you all for coming out. God bless you, and good night.